We had to borrow against our farm in order to pay the mortgage, to be honest with you. So
there's no doubt in my mind that this flood would never have happened had it not been for the climate crisis that we are in.
As I see that last wave, it's more like an ocean. It's like the tide is coming in. That last wave actually hit to the far side of the road.
I spent the night there. It was a bit too scary to go to bed.
we had a lot of loss. Our personal disaster is for 2021 was it's beyond imagination. Good morning, Steve Rice, Spence's Bridge.
My name is Mavourneen Varcoe-Ryan and I live on Highway 8 in the Nicola Valley.
Okay, hi, my name is Jim. I live in Spence's Bridge on the banks of the Nicola River, where we've lived for the last 20 years.
After the flood, we have a spring freshet, so we always expect flooding in late spring. The waters go high. This flood was November 14th, totally out of the flood season. So that's why everybody was caught off guard.
We started to see Highway 8 across the river from us being totally washed away.
Kept getting higher all day, and at lunchtime we kind of took all our tables that we had down by the river, moved them out, and just watched the river coming up. And
our little access road was starting to look like it was eroding. We decided to take both of our vehicles out to the bottom of our access road, and I chose to come to Kamloops.
We knew there'd been some torrential rain pour, so we knew there might be some high water. What we didn't know is when Ryan, my farm partner, and myself went down to the pump house, is the water had already got into our pump house.
As you can see, the waves are crashing up on me. So I'm gonna get out of here. I'm getting too wet, but don't tell me there's no climate change. That's all I gotta say.
every 10 or 15 minutes I'd bring my flashlight down to the river and see where it was at. And I think it finally peaked at around 10 p.m. or between 10 and midnight.
In the meantime, Paulet had gone off to work into Spence's Bridge, which is 5 kilometers down the road on Highway 1. We live about 6 kilometers up on Highway 8, the Merritt Highway. And so I took off and went into the shop and brought something into the shop to Paulet. And when I came back to the farm, the water had already reached Highway 8. Just an hour later, our restaurant, the water was all the way across the highway. And then when I was going to go back to the farm, because the rumor was the water keep rising, we all expected the water to recede. Everybody, nobody was panicking. Everybody's going about business as usual. So really sort of an interesting situation. Somebody came in at the coffee shop and said the road was gone.
The view from above shows a BC First Nation cut off from the rest of the province.
We're still in devastation.
Drone footage shows the aftermath of the catastrophic storms off Highway 8. Life is changed for the Shakon First Nation.
It was 6 feet from the highway. Well, guess what? No longer 6 feet from the highway. It's not only on the highway, it's like 3 feet from the yellow line.
Entire farms and pieces of land were washed down the river last week by floodwaters, destroying retirement plans and family homes for many living along Highway 8 between Merritt and Spence's Bridge.
My house, getting the dog out.
We're in our 60s, 70s, some of us and stuff. We're not really looking to start over.
We were the fortunate ones, I call us, even though there was 4 farm dogs, my farm partner Ryan, my wife's brother Wayne, so 4 adults and 4 dogs, in a little 2-bedroom apartment, and that's where we got to live, which brings you to, well, where did everybody else go?
Well, I tried to get it bigger, but you can see the rock slide. Anyways, this is scary shit. That's all I gotta say.
We were 4.5 months away from our home. One of the reasons that we couldn't go back even after the road was put back in was because the hydro poles all washed away as well. The hydro poles from Highway 8 turned up in Tawasin. That means it went down the Nicola River, the Thompson River, the Fraser River, out to the sea. And there's a number on the poles that they traced it back to the Nicola Valley Highway 8.
But we did go back to the house. We couldn't drive in, but we could hike in.
Couple of kilometers, and it was a bit dodgy in spots of rappelling up and down with a rope, but we were able to, like, for instance, take stuff out from our freezer.
Here's Mavourneen about to go down the slippery slope. So it's 50 feet of rope. The rope kind of goes down around the corner, and we got the pickaxe and made a path around the corner. And we went back every week or every couple of weeks, and sometimes we stayed overnight even and got a big fire going, and it was like camping inside.
Like I said, some of the farm animals never made it. They got washed away down the river. The ones that did, like our chickens and Kim and Lauren's horses, who, by the way, lost their house, they lost all their outbuildings, they lost everything but their pregnant dog with 8 puppies and their horses. They were actually helicoptered out of their property on sling. First time it's ever been done in BC, by the way, this rescue operation. To see it coming down on that sling was something else. But the chickens did not survive the winter. We had a very cold December, minus 30. They didn't make it through the winter. And that was the case with anybody on Highway, because the only way we could get in for months was by helicopter.
It could be a lifetime disaster. We don't know those answers.
Rice says the progress planning has already begun, but it will still be a long while before the community is back on its feet.
Our business, because we were the only businesses that had food and drink and even a place just to hang out and rest and catch your breath, did quite well. As even in the off season, it did quite well. Now, on the other hand, our farm, which is the main business for 34 years, suffered greatly, because not only could we not go there, but we had already planted our crops for both 21 and 22. We could harvest them, but we could not sell them because the road was closed. We lost a family member, our beloved daughter. We lost our beloved community. Lytton is our sister city, we sort of call it, as part of our family. When that burnt to the ground in less than an hour during the heat dome, and then we lost our home. We were evacuated for, nearly a year in total between the fires and the floods. We lost our entire harvest that year. It was all in the freezer, and we had to go out, helicopter in, and throw it onto the ground to feed the chickens, who later died. But it was just moment after moment that you're dealing with this crisis and stuff like that. We almost weren't able to process it because so much bad was happening so fast.
I am sure that the climate crisis, climate emergency, I want to say, not just climate change, because that sounds too benign, because it is an emergency and it is a crisis. There's no doubt in my mind that this flood would never have happened had it not been for the climate crisis that we are in. Okay, goodbye, house. Hope I see you again. Voices of the night. There were 3 atmospheric rivers piled on top of each other in the fall that poured down on top of what had already burnt drastically that summer already, after having the heat dome where we hit over 49 degrees Celsius. And then there was the fire. The fire came from the Lytton fire that came to our back door and all through the Nicola Valley. And it just matches up exactly where the fires were and where the flooding happened. And then later where the mudslides happened, we're all on top of each other. And we know that after there's been a forest fire, the ground can no longer absorb moisture. In fact, it repels the moisture for, I believe, like a couple of years even, before the land will start absorbing the moisture again.
The warm veil of darkness surrenders our honesty.
We've lost our swimming hole. I mean, that may not seem like a lot to a lot of people. It was an incredible swimming hole. Maybe we'll get a new one, maybe not. Look at this. Look at this. They literally made a road out of rocks and
He said the people on the ground, the foot soldiers, the firefighters, the flood people, the construction people, not only did they listen to the people, they came to us and asked, what else can we do for you? And they have been incredible. So the people on the ground, to have this road, Highway 8, in less than a year, get rebuilt between Spence's Bridge and Merritt is nothing less than a miracle.
I fall to pieces each time I see you again. I fall to pieces. How can I be just your friend? You want me to act like we've never kissed. You want me to forget, pretend we've never met. And I tried and I tried, but I haven't yet. You walk by and I fall to pieces. I fall to pieces each time someone speaks your name.